What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Total Payout Podcast. This is your host, Trouble, and I want to welcome you guys today. This is March 1st, 2026, and we're going to go ahead and go over some picks today. But first, we want to go ahead and kind of recap yesterday. Now, yesterday we did have only one pick. We had Miami Heat plus 3.5 over the Houston Rockets. They did cash that ticket, so we want to get ourselves a pat in the back on that one. They did come through on the money line as well. So if you did take a money line, extra dough in your pocket. But any way it goes, we cash that check. Um, kind of wasn't hard for me. Like I said, Miami was 1-8. I'm sorry, Houston was 1-8-1 against the spread against Miami their last 10. Also, I think they were like 1-9 money line on the money line, so they won 1 out of their last 10 against Miami. So it wasn't hard for me to look at that and not trust Houston. Don't care who's on the team, they don't go to Miami and play great. So it wasn't hard for me to look at that and make a choice. Now, today's slate, we got a lot of games today. Today, I'm going to go ahead and skip college. Not going to waste my time with that one as far as discussing it because I didn't like a lot, didn't come up with anything that I want to put on my plate. A lot of good games. Didn't see a lot of edges that I like. We do have NBA today. I like 2 games in the NBA, so we're going to go over those games and see where we can find the edge and see if we can cash some more checks. Now, the games that we have on deck that we're going to go ahead and handicap, we got Portland versus Atlanta, and then we got Detroit versus Orlando. Now, handicapping the first game is going to be Portland and Atlanta is going to be the first game we're going to take a look at. Now, we got Portland coming in on the road, 29-32 on the money line, 33-28 against the spread, and then they're also 32-29 to the over. Also, Atlanta, 30-31 on the money line, 30-31 against the spread, and then they're 29-32 as far as their total goes. Now, this matchup is an East-West matchup, so obviously they only see each other 2 times a year. They have played already. They played January 15th of this calendar year, so obviously, we're going to look at that game. That game was a Portland home game. Portland was a +4 dog. They won 117-101, and they went under 229. So, obviously, we're gonna see Portland +4 at home. I don't know about that one, but they got the money line as a dog last time they played. Head to head, Portland has been dominating this series, 6-4 on the money line last 10. 7-3 against the spread last 10, 6-4 to the over last 10. So Portland has been dominating in with the over. Now, one thing I do want to kind of mention and keep in mind, this is Portland's 3rd game in the last 4 nights. So you want to kind of keep that in mind when you handicapping this game. That Portland might be on tired legs, no rest for the weary, man. So Atlanta might try to take advantage of that, and Portland might bow out early based on the fact that they've been running hard. They've been on the road playing balling. So not been winning all the games, but they've been playing some ball. Now, Portland is 1-3 to the under their last 4, so they have been kind of struggling on the scoring department. Also, their last 14 are 12-2 to the under away. So once they get out of Portland, they're going under. Also, 6-2 last 8 versus the East have went under um, for Portland. Now, Atlanta is 4-2 their last 6 to the under versus Portland. So versus Portland, under. Last 6, 4-2. Atlanta also 6-1 last 7 at home have went under, and also 8-3 their last 11 versus the West. So just like Portland against the East, Atlanta against the West, under. Atlanta at home, under. Portland on the road, under. Obviously, I'm tipping my bet. I'm gonna take it under. I think it's at like 238. I seen the 238, 238 and a half. I'm sorry. I seen the 238, and I did see a 239, depending on where you're shopping. But I got it at 238 in the hook. Gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna try to go out there and say 239, 238 and a half. My personal line, I got Atlanta -2, and I got the line at 231 to 233, somewhere in between there. So if you can get it at higher than 238 and a half, and you like it under, more the better. But I got mine at 238 in the hook. Now the second game that we handicapping, like I said, is gonna be Detroit versus Orlando. Obviously, this is going to be a great game. Orlando's trying to come back around. They're a little bit behind Detroit, but they're trying to get back up into the pack. Hopefully, they can catch up. I like Orlando. Now Detroit's coming in on the road at 44-14 overall, 31-26-1 against the spread, and then 26-32 on the total. Orlando is 31-27 overall, straight up money line, 24-33-1 against the spread, and then they're also over under is 30-28. Now, these two teams have played twice already. It was a couple months ago. It was last calendar year. First matchup was October 29th, and then the second matchup was November 28th. So it's been a while since they last seen each other. Obviously, Detroit has taken off. They're at the top of the league. I think they're like right there with OKC, one game ahead or maybe one game behind. They might be tied with each other, but I know they're right there. Orlando, like I said, 31-27. So they backslid a little bit. A lot of injuries, so they don't. It's not that they don't have an excuse, but I'm sure they don't want an excuse. So they want to get on the grind right now, try to make up some ground and get ahead of these teams, or maybe catch up to some teams that's ahead of them. Now, head to head, Orlando has dominated this series, if you could believe it. 8-2 on the money line, last 10, 7-3 against the spread, and then the total has went under 6-4 last 10. But they have went over their last 5, 3-2. So they have went under 6-4 last 10, but they have trended to the over their last 5. Now Orlando is over 4-2 their last 6 games. So Orlando been putting the ball in the bucket their last 6. Also, the last time Atlanta played on a Sunday, it was maybe it felt like an All Star game. The total was 148-143 with a total of 291 points. Orlando versus Atlanta. So you want to keep that in mind. That on that Sunday, that was ridiculous scoring. It was probably a great game, but it wasn't a lot of defense. Orlando is over 5-1 last 6 on Sunday. So when they play on Sunday, 5-1 to the over. Also, Orlando the over is 6-3 their last 9, and they're over last 6 at home. They're going over last 6 games. 4-1 last 5 versus the East. So when Orlando suits up against the East, over last 5, 4-1. Now Detroit also is 4-1 over their last 5, so they've been balling their last 5. They've been doing their thing. Um, Detroit has some crazy splits that I kind of was looking at. On the road, Detroit is over 48%. At home, they only go over 43% of the time. Obviously, I'm tipping my pick. You know, Detroit also is over 5-1 last 6 in March. So in March they turn it up a little bit. And try to put the ball in the hole a little bit more, win games on the offensive side instead of always playing defense. As far as hanging their hat on defense, they try to score a couple points in March. And the total's been going over. Those splits to me, not to say it's crazy or anything, but obviously I'm tipping my hat on the over. Um, Kind of helped me out with me as far as my decision for me, 48% to the over. So if I do like the over Detroit with Detroit in the game, they have to be on the road, obviously. Just it's no different than me when I play Houston. I take them over. That's another team I like to take over only on the road. Um, like I say, I like this game to the over. They're 1-1 to the over this year as far as the 2 games they played. Starting with October game, Detroit was a +1.5 dog. At home, they won 135-116, way over the total of 226. And then when they played on November 26th, Orlando was a dog +3.5. They did cover. Detroit was at home again, so both games have been home for Detroit. 112-109, they went under the total of 230. So they went over the total of 226, way over. Then they went under 230. This total's at 221. The total that did go under, it hit 221. So kind of giving me an indication what they're looking at. You know what I mean? So they're not gonna obviously put it at 238 to something like that where it went the first time, but the second time, 221. So I'm gonna go ahead and shoot it over. Obviously, those trends I read out. There's a couple other things that make me take it over, but just some things I want to share nerdy wise with you guys. Some nerdy nuggets I want to share with you guys that kind of make me look at it and think it might just shoot over that 221. I know both teams average like 115. Not saying they're gonna get that 115. You never know, but hopefully they can at least get 110 piece. When we get one bucket, we're over. So we can just get both teams to hit 110 apiece. Got to go over. So like I said, we got those 2 plays. We got Portland and Atlanta under 238 in the hook. And then we got Detroit against Orlando over 221. If you can get it, 221 in the hook, 222, I'll take it over. It's a numbers game, man. So anything over 222, it's up to you. But 221 is where I got it at. Let's book it. Let's cash that check. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in to Total Payout Podcast. This your host Trouble once again. Like I say, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Like, comment, and subscribe at the end of this video. Appreciate you, man. You guys have a great, great, great Sunday. Thank you.